Well, mastering is the last creative step in the record-making process. This is where the final sound of the CD or download is determined. And once the producer and the artist and the management, whomever, approves the final product, then we take off our creative hat and put on our manufacturer's hat, and it becomes very, very technical after that. Everything gets quality controlled very carefully, and all the little, I's get dotted and the T's get crossed, and everything is very, very precise after that. So it's basically the final sweetening of the record. It's where the record comes together. Very often when the records come to us, we don't know what sequence the songs are going to be in. The artist and the producer are still deciding, or sometimes fighting over that. And there's editing involved.
You've worked with wide range of artists, everyone from Barbra Streisand to Kiss and on and on. Are you completely agnostic about the kind of music that you work with? Does it matter to you a bit what the music is, or are you just there to give it the best possible sound?
Well, I'm definitely there to give it the best possible sound. And fortunately for us, 95% of the time, the work that comes into us, because of who we are, I guess, is really well done. And I can enjoy almost any genre of music as long as it's really well done and well performed. So that's a real plus. There's certain artists in country music that have lyrics that just make me go, ugh, I just can't quite take that. But most, like I just did the George Strait record, which is nominated for a Grammy this year, and it's good.
Let's talk about some of the artists whom you've met, because they come up to Portland. They are so hands-on that they want to come work with you in the studio on the final project. Who in particular really likes to be hands-on?
Well, Chris Martin from Coldplay was here for quite a while when we were doing the Coldplay record. He came here several times. He had a very particular idea of what he wanted, and it wasn't us so much. He didn't revise anything I did, but he kept having different mixes done with a mix engineer before it came to us. So that was a long process. And Lou Reed has been here, and of course Bruce Springsteen was just here doing his new record that's going to come out just before his halftime performance at the Super Bowl this year.
You know Springsteen pretty well, because he's been here several times, right?
Yeah, I've worked with Bruce since, the Nebraska record.
So that's going back about 20 years?
A long time, yeah. It's been good, yeah. And he just won last night at the Golden Globes for the Wrestler song.
For the Wrestler,
which
right.
is a wonderful song.
What's he like to work with?
He's great. Bruce is a completely unique superstar as far as I'm concerned, because he doesn't have that kind of ego trip thing going on that a few of them do. And, Bruce he's kind of like Lou Reed in a way, in that he's first of all a poet, really. When you get really down to it, he's a poet, and then a great songwriter and musician. So he's very friendly and cares a lot about everything. But he's the kind of person who he just cares so much about what he does. It's very inspiring to be around somebody like that.
Paul Simon is another artist whom you've worked with. Crossword puzzle fan, right?
Yes,
what's the story
exactly.
About that?
Yeah, you heard about this, yeah. When we were doing, what record was it? It was 2 Paul Simon records ago, because the last time I did one, he wasn't able to come up here. But when we were working on the record, he had the New York Times crossword puzzle, and he was filling it in about as fast as you could write. And now that I'm hip to the New York Times crossword puzzles, degrees of difficulty, like Monday's pretty easy, and it gets getting harder and harder and harder till you get to Saturday, where they just completely screw with your mind, So we're trying to remember which day he was there to see how impressed we really were.
But still, anyone who just kind of sits there and fills in the blanks without even pausing, I'm highly impressed.
Yeah, that was great.
You've been doing this for a little over 40 years now.
Yeah.
First breakout hit that you worked on was Neil Diamond's Kentucky Woman.
Yes.
And then went on to do Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin.
That was a while later, yeah.
Do you ever kind of pinch yourself to think that you've been doing this for 4 decades now?
Yes, I do. I'm just really grateful that I can still physically hear great, and that people still like my approach towards the records that I work on. That they'll come from Australia to work.
I would guess that the single most important attribute that you have is your ears.
Yes.
Our hearing tends to decline as we get older. You said you still have the hearing. Has there been any change, or is your hearing and your ear for the music just as acute as ever?
Yeah, I would say it's in many ways better than ever, because in my studio, one of the reasons I started my own business here in Portland was because it was a place where I could affordably build the mega monster room that I wanted to build. And the acoustics in the room are as perfect as we know how to get them to be, and the speakers are an amazing set of speakers. And having such a great tool to work with, when I have a concept in my head as to what I think the music should sound like, it's very easy for me to go for that sound and get it quickly.